Alright, well, what's going on, guys? Sevadra back here again. Episode 3 of KOTH. This one's gonna be a little bit of a quick one, because KOTH changed their rules in Season 2 as to how, like, series in the non-vassal lobbies are played. And I just wanted to get this video out as a little quick update because I was trying to play just to get vassal and then, continue the series from there. And then a certain player named BB11 came up, and I was like, you know what, let me challenge this guy. It's not that I felt confident, but I wanted to challenge myself in order to actually get into vassal. And I know that BB11 is a pretty big grinder for this game, so I typically just kind of thought he was relatively good at the game. Keep your opinions to yourself. I don't care. That's just what I think. But yeah, another thing about this is that my house was actually kind of noisy when I was playing this, so my mic was off, so I actually am doing a post commentary. And last thing is that KOTH decided to make Plebeian series best of 1 as opposed to best of 3, but BB11 and I decided to we agreed on playing a best of 3 anyways, so yeah, we're just gonna be doing that up. So our starting map was Frozen River. He went Dartling Gun, which is actually a bit of a surprise for me. I didn't know that Dartling was viable on this map. And I went Boat Mortar, which I've been trying to practice with a lot as of late. It's not that I'm super good with it yet. I'm just trying to use it as much as I can in order to get super good with it. And yeah, so starting out, I played the aggressive boat start. And I played the aggressive boat start because I guess also to counter exactly what he was trying to do, because he went Dartling. He's likely going Dartling Bomb, which means that he's trying to go late game, which means he wants to greed for farms, because he also anti-stalled round 1 if you didn't catch that. So I played the aggressive boat start and it actually worked out pretty well. We got some leaks. We're ahead in farms right now, which is actually a surprise, and he's sending pinks, which is not the smartest move on his part, but also I bought Crow's Nest on accident, which is also not the smartest move on my part. So mistakes on both sides, but it's alright. So I'm gonna layer into round 6 here because I see Dartling and I think he's probably trying to go late game, so I want to try and force defense and lives. I bloom boosted blacks behind this because I wanted to try and force as many lives as I can, and he was able to get up his Dartling relatively early, so that kind of fell apart. He didn't leak as much as I wanted him to, so that's a misplay on my part. I should have just kept full sending with the greens so that the balloons were just there and overwhelmed him a lot more, but he sold his Dartling to go for another farm. And I don't know if this was a bait or not, but he was able to get up a bomb. He was able to get up a frag bomb in order to defend my yellow rush here, which I kind of overlayered. I should have layered a little later so that I sent more yellows instead of more greens, because he didn't really leak to that at all. So I'm kind of just playing this a little poorly. He's now ahead in farms, but I'm ahead in eco, so that's going to be a little important if this does go a little more late game. But yeah, it's almost round 10. I can kind of play a little aggressive in the mid game here is what I'm thinking, because I have Boat Mortar, and he can't really rush Boat Mortar. He'll force me to sell a farm to get up a destroyer or 2 if he really does rush me, maybe even a balloon buster. But I'm kind of sitting pretty with defense here for a good while, unless he sends an Omega big rush, and I also have a tower boost, so I'm kind of gonna play this a little tactically here, and I sent him Camelets in order to force up the depleted plutonium, and I got super aggressive here in the mid rounds. So look at the rush I'm about to do, right? I'm thinking about whether or not I want to go for my farm. I decide I don't. And here's what I do, right? We start out leading a rush with regen Luds, then some blacks, and then a couple zebras, and I bloom boosted, but I sent camo zebras behind it because he wasn't going to be ready for that type of rush unless he had good micro. And yeah, I think I catch him off guard pretty well with that rush. He could have gotten up like another Dartling or two before boosting, and he would have been fine with that. I don't think that he's like, I don't think that defending that is beyond him at all, but I think I just caught him pretty well with it. So now we're going into game 2. He chooses Ink Blot. Now, I've been choking a lot on Ink Blot as of late. It's actually kind of tragic. I know how to play Ink Blot, but I've been choking to like dumb round 8 and round 10 rushes because I guess the Bionic Boomerang is not as good as I thought it was on this map. So, like, this is kind of a learning experience for me and for you guys. So, yes, this is a live commentary. I can't really fast forward, but we're just going to start out with the same old aggressive start here. I have adopted a strategy where in boost only, I will do this aggressive start on Ink Blot and then set down 2 spikes, right? Because I'm not going to use my road spikes really any other time. I'm not even really going to use them for Moabs because Ink Blot just doesn't go late game like that. And like even if it does, there's no real point where using road spikes becomes valuable for like defending Moabs and whatnot, because you're gonna turbocharge either way since the scent path is so short. It's so short, like it's insanely short. So I just opt to use my spikes in the early and mid game, and I think that helps me out here a good bit because we're gonna be sending each other a good lot, and he's going to leak whereas I'm not because I have road spikes at the end. So I mean, like, it is spikes burned, yes, and extra lives, but it's still monumentally helpful in the end, I would say. Especially because he can't see it. So if like the player doesn't pay attention and like know that you put down 2 sets of spikes, then they're like, oh, I guess he's not leaking. But yeah, so we're gonna get aggressive here around 6, boosting blacks, kind of typical play. I think I will follow up some greens on this eventually. He's gonna follow up some greens on this eventually too, if I remember correctly. No, actually, I just kind of opt to full send the blacks because, like, we're defending okay, but we're still like they're still getting by, and round 7 is a good round for it to layer in. So, yeah, there's his spike. He's leaking a good lot. I was starting to leak a little bit, but that's okay. He's leaking a lot, like holy. So yeah, that was just something. And I think here's my mistake here, right? I boost round 8, despite having a 2-0 boomerang, because I could have just targeted that boomerang to I think either last or close, and I would have been okay. But then here's mistake number 2, right? He's going to re-rush in a second here, and instead of getting up the Glaive Ricochet, I guess, I get up the Bionic Boomerang, which is apparently not bueno. As even though I thought, like, getting the Bionic Boomerang would have helped me out in that situation, it didn't. Apparently having the Glaive Ricochet there to cover for all the, like, compressed balloons would help out a lot better because the Bionic Boomer is like it's firing at like a slower rate than it'll hit the balloons, I guess is the easiest way to think about it. The Glaive Ricochet is going to hit more balloons because they're so tightly compact there. Nonetheless, lessons learned. It's 1-1 right now, and we're on a moon landing, so I decided to play DFA here, and whether or not it was a great idea, because like I kind of thought that, like, with the last map that BB11 may have wanted to go late game. Here I was just kind of like, let's just get some DFA practice in. And this strat would have also been a decent counter strat to really anything that he could have played out. But watch this, right? So we're getting into round 2. I'm sending out to 255 in order to get up my first dart. And he places, wait for it, an ice tower. So, what does that tell me? He's going Heli Ice. What does going Heli Ice tell me? He wants to go late game again. What can I do that he really can't? Be aggressive. And the good thing about Heli Ice, or at least playing against Heli Ice, is that it suffers a lot in the early game. Like, a lot. So, I have basically a plan, like, in my mind right now. I have to end this game before round 30. Really, I have to end this game before round 22. But I can do a lot of damage here in the early game, whereas he can't do so much damage. He's trying to force defense and dissuade me from rushing, but I'm just kind of playing it, like, and he's choking a little bit too. He sold both of his ice towers in order to get up a heli, and like by that time I was already sending a good amount of pinks because he wasn't paying attention. He was trying to rush me and get me to leak and build defense and stop me rushing. So I sent a bunch of blues here to force either the quad darts or another ice tower, and there it is. We got some pinks on the layer behind that, so they're gonna get through and cause a couple of leaks, but then I get I'm playing super aggressive here. Like, I have one plantation, but I have 300 eco, and I'm just basically playing for the leaks at this point. I don't know why I was sending greens here. I thought the greens would be more aggressive or more effective here, but it turns out they're not because the snap freeze is actually really good. That being said, though, it did kind of mesh in with the ice tower's ability to like block darts and force him to leak a good bit when I sent those blacks. So I guess that's the upside of that. Because when the ice tower was like freezing the balloons, the darts can't pierce that. So that was actually kind of 200 IQ play. And here I was ready for him to try and layer into round 8. I got up my Spolt pretty early. Was able to get up another triple dart too. And here I'm just kind of waiting. Like, he's on 16 lives. There's like no way. So I sent him regen whites, which you may think doesn't work. You might think this doesn't work, but look at the regrow going around that bend because he doesn't move around his heli pilot. He ends up burning a spike and boosting. And this is important. He's boosting here because he gets up a Razor Rotors too, but the heli by itself is really weak without a boost. And even if he has his boost back by round 13, I can send him a massive camo rush and he will have to do a good lot of micro in order to do anything against it. So here I get up second Spolt, second trip dart. I'm kind of struggling here, but I just triple spike that and I'll be fine. And yeah, so now round 13 is the big round for like me here. So what I do the same like kind of lead in rush, except I do it with zebras because of the ice tower. I see he's sending me stuff, so I just boost regardless so I can focus on my rush. And I just sent him a bunch of camos, like a bunch of camos. I was saving up a good bit for that, and he moved his heli pilot I think in the wrong place there. Now that I look back on it, he moved his heli pilot back in the wrong place there because he could have definitely defended if it wasn't for, like, you know, if he got up a second heli or if he just like had better coverage of his Razor Rotors. But yeah, that's gonna be that. Like I said, like, it was important that I got the leaks on him early so that that rush was that more effective, because that's less that I have to send in order to get him to boost in the longer term. And the mid game is just really not good for heli ice unless you play it super well. But yeah, that's gonna be that. With this, I am now promoted to Vassal. I don't know how long that's gonna last. I doubt it's gonna last very long. But this is technically my game into Vassal, and I think it was a pretty good game to do it on. Like, it was not only a challenge for, like, for me, like, personally, but it was also like, yeah, I just did it, and it's pretty cool. Hopefully night is next, but yeah, take care, have a good one.